All right, in this video, I'm going to share with you 10 points in terms of overcoming failure. Okay, all of us, you know, we must have been through some failure, whether it's relationship, someone we love broke up, or we failed in the exam, or we tried for a particular job, we didn't get, or let's say you're competing for a competition and you won the second place, or you didn't place at all. There can be plenty of things. Or let's say, you're trying towards something, or elusive goal, and you didn't get it. Whether it's career, whether it's migrating to a country, a career path. So I've just written down 10 points which I want to share with you, and the goal is just to help you. Okay, there's nothing more than this. So if it feels it helps you, great. And if you feel it can add value to someone, please do share it with them. Okay, so the first point about failure, just remember that it is, whether we like to hear it or not, it's a part of life. And anytime you try something new, you will fail. And anytime you have an elusive goal, you will fail. There are people who are competing for this goal, whether it's a guy, a girl, or a job or competition. Everyone, there is someone out there who's competing for it. So one will win, one will lose. Like, when you have two boxers, both are undefeated, they say that someone's O. O means zero losses has to go. Someone's O has to go. That means somebody is going to have one failure record. So just accept the reality that failure is a part of life. And sometimes when we take bigger the risks, we do get bigger the rewards, but then bigger the failure also. So take a risk that you can handle, a failure that you can manage. So first point is, we all fail. Point number two is, you need to put things into perspective and not exaggerate things. For that, you need to sit down with someone who is not emotionally involved, who is logical. Let's say, for example, what I mean by this. You broke up with a guy or girl that you loved. Now, what is the common tendency? I can't live without her. I will die. I want to kill myself. You're just exaggerating it more than what is required. Yes, the pain is there. Yes, the emotion, the emptiness, it's very hard because you're going through that phase. It's wrong of me to assume what you're going through. But don't exaggerate it. Just because you lost a competition doesn't mean it's the end of the world. Just because you didn't get a job doesn't mean you'll not get any other job. Just because this person broke up with you doesn't mean you'll never get anyone else. Maybe you'll never get as good as that person. Maybe. But then, come on, man. Maybe that person was not meant to be yours. Maybe it looks glamorous, but there's so much of headache. So just keep in mind that you need to put things into perspective. Okay, don't exaggerate, and sit down with a logical person, write it down, and understand that it's not the end of the world. Okay. Number three is, ask yourself, what is the worst that can happen to you right now? Worst. Let's say, okay, the person broke up with you. What is the worst? Oh, I'll never get anyone else. That can be a possibility. There are people who have never managed to get another lifetime partner. Okay, you lost a job. You'll never get a job like that. Okay? Yeah, they can be a multinational company. Maybe there was a salary they were given that time you'd never get. Maybe you wanted to be a WWE superstar. There are people who have asked me this, singer, actor. Maybe you'll never get that. So if that is the worst that can happen to you, and that is maybe the reality, the prayer of serenity comes into play. Well, you can't change it, right? So you can cry about it, or you can accept it. So sometimes you need to accept the worst that can happen, and then tell yourself, fine, this has happened. I need to move on. Because, being miserable, you just have one life. Being miserable is no point here. Okay, feeling sad, crying, fine. But don't ruin your life and ruin the life of people around you. Even the person who's going through the worst disaster, if they've got an accident, paralyzed, or lost their leg, or someone in Palestine who has lost his house, his family, can't work, can't earn anything. What can he do other than accept it? He has to accept it. And then after accepting, okay, now how can I make it better? Which is the next point that you need to ask yourself is, how can I make this situation better? Figure out ways and means to make it better. Because if you don't, nobody else will do it for you. So even when I was penniless and homeless, that was the worst that could happen. How could I make it better? Okay, ask people for help, ask, uh, charity, go for free food, go for places someone can offer you to stay, work any job, whether it's even a cleaner, whatever. So you need to figure out a solution for it. Okay. Then next one is, this one may help you get better, but always remember there's someone out there who has it worse than you. Okay, you lost your loved one. Fine. Do you know that there are people who maybe lost their loved ones and decided to end their life, and they lost their arm, their leg, and they're living, or they're paralyzed, or they got into a coma? Would you want to exchange places with them? There are people who have, like I tell some of my clients, okay, you're saying this is the worst. Would you prefer, there's someone who I know is paralyzed. Would you exchange places? They say no. Would you like to live like someone who is suffering in Africa or Palestine, be without a house, without mother, father, wife, children, live without being able to earn only on charity? They say no. So remember, there are people worse off than you. Focus on your blessings. You have a lot more that you're not thinking about. And right now, because of cognitive dissonance and your bias, you're choosing not to see this. You need to be, open your horizons and stop self-pity. Okay, that can also be another point. Stop self-pity, because nobody cares, nobody gives a fuck. Get back up. Okay. Number 5 is, I think you need to be very realistic about why you failed, and you need to jot these points down. Why did you fail? What were the reasons? Whether it was a person, whether it was a temptation, whether it was you, your behavior, your actions, whatever. Write down all the reasons for that, and then decide to have corrective measures. Let's say, um, my boss, my ex-employer, his factory caught fire, and because it was attached to a neighboring chemical plant, it caught fire and the fire spread, and then the insurance refused to give him money. So he jotted down all the mistakes that were made. Okay, they didn't have a separate warehouse, they didn't have proper firefighting equipment, alert switch. The insurance didn't. They didn't tell him all these loopholes. So he made sure all the loopholes were closed, covered, and so that it would never happen again. Sometimes preventive measure is better before the accident happens. Like when I go out driving with my wife and kid, I wear a helmet. My daughter, everyone wears a helmet. My wife wears a helmet. We make sure that the tires of the scooter, we change, even if there's a small this thing, we put brand new tires, check the brakes, we send it to Honda, uh, the actual authorized service center, even if you have to pay more, because just for saving a few dollars, I don't want to risk it. And wherever possible, we drive inside where it's not the main road where it's fast. So we take preventive measures. So just make sure that you take the preventive measures, and if in case you have already failed, what are the reasons, and correct them off. Number 6 is, what can you do that will help you succeed better? Is it change of location? Is it change of friends? Is it change of work environment? Is it change of your mentor? Is it change of your partner? Is it change of living with you, whomsoever? So what do you need to do in order to succeed? Is it, you know, you have to try a new protocol? There are 110 things that you can do if you really search. So be it your food habits, sleeping habits, work, place you stay, everything can change. So figure out what has to change and make it happen, man. It's all about spending some time and thinking. Number 7 is, what do you need to remove and what do you need to add? Let's say you have failed in your exam. Okay. So what do you need to remove there? Maybe internet connection, maybe smartphone, maybe apps, maybe remove all the distractions from your room, maybe only surround it with a table, a chair, the book. That's it. That you have to study. You know what I'm saying. Or maybe your friends always call you to have fun and play games. Maybe with your parents, go meet someone who is a rank holder and only meet him. There are so many ways. If you're really determined, you'll find out things that take you away from your goal. You want to lose weight, Do you store chips, chocolates, ice creams, tempting food in the house? Do you constantly go to convenience stores or hamburger joints or fast food joints? So you need to remove all this. What you need to add? Maybe if instead of chips, you had carrots and cucumbers kept right in front of you every time. Well, you have solved one problem. So always replace the bad with the good. And if you're trying to get rid of a bad habit, remember, replace the habit. So if you are hanging around with your friends, they were all smoking, that time that you're enjoying, replace that slot by going somewhere else where you'll enjoy something else with a new bunch of friends. Always, when you replace something, you succeed. Number 8 is, I think sometimes if you set unrealistic goals, you will fail. Let's say you're talking of, I want to be a CEO of a company, or I want to earn $1 million, or I want to be a WWE superstar, or I want to get six-pack abs. Okay, some people have done it. Maybe you can do it. But if you want to be, let's say, a CEO of a company, and from a sales executive, you have not moved to senior sales, then how will you be a CEO? And after sales, senior sales is maybe team leader or sales manager. After sales manager is maybe area manager or regional manager, then is general manager. So there's steps now. So yes, have an elusive, major, big goal, but break it down and choose the next step. Make it easier. And if you do not have something really big like that, let's say in terms of me, I want to fast for 15 days. Um, if I can't do more than 2 days, or I can't do more than 24 hours, I cannot achieve 15 days with no food. So even 24 hours was impossible to me. So for me, so I said, okay, I'll eat food after 1 hour. Simple goal. So when I was able to do that today, I said, let me do it tomorrow. Then I did it for maybe 1 week, 1 month. Then I said, okay, fine. So I'll do it after 3 hours. Then slowly I started to eat. Before I would eat food when I woke up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I said, I'll eat after 12. Once I succeed for many days after 12, after 3. Once I succeed many days after 3, 6. And remember, in between you will fail, but don't give up. Keep trying. And when it becomes a consistent habit, then push to the next. And that is how you go. So lower your goals, make it easy, achieve that, next step. Number 9 is always take one step at a time. Don't, sometimes if you think, like when I started my marathon running journey, I couldn't do 50 meters. Not joking. I was overweight, my joints are paining. I couldn't do 50 meters. So half marathon was 21 kilometers. It was impossible. And that is where, the wise people who had more experience told me, Loy, just take one step at a time, man. Do 50 meters, focus on 60. You can do 60, do 100. After you do 100, 150, then 200. And then half a kilometer, then 1 kilometer. So one step at a time. Every day I would take one step. Every day do something to bring you closer to your goal. It may not be something very big, small. Just do one thing and you'll get there. Suppose you're smoking 12 cigarettes, make it, say 10, then make it 8, then make it 6, then make it 4, then make it 2. Some people succeed in going cold turkey. See what works for you. But every day, one step at a time. And last but not the least, number 10 is consistency is the key. Every single day, you have to do the bare minimum. Let's say you want to do exercise. Don't make a mega schedule like I'll do 4 hours a day, 6 days a week. I'll do hardcore. No. Bare minimum. Just go out for one round, down the house and come back. It'll do 2 to 3 minutes. Fine, that's enough. Push-ups. You want to do 50, 100, fine. Let's start with one push-up a day, just one. If you can do just one push-up, it's enough. So when you do that one thing every day, it builds the muscle. So always remember the bare minimum. Do one push-up. Do 1 minute of walk. Do the bare minimum. And if you can do the bare minimum every single day, then it becomes a habit and then you'll succeed. So always do the bare minimum. Okay? So these are the 10 steps that I'd give you, that if you failed, remember, we all fail, you'll fall down, but that's not the end of the world. You need to get back up and you need to try again. And remember, small steps. I've even Bill Ackman, who lost billions of dollars, 14 billion he was under. All he had to do was, when he had to get out, he said, "How did I get out?" When he did the podcast with Lex Friedman, he said, "I just focused on one step at a time, just one, bare minimum. And one step every day. Okay, 30 days, 30 steps. I move forward. 60 days, 60 steps. I moved 60 places forward." And that's how you achieve your goal. So every day do the bare minimum, and that is where you will succeed. Okay? So these are the 10 points. If you have failed, what you can do. I hope this helped you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Good, bad, ugly. I'd love to hear from you. This is me signing off. You guys take care. Ciao.